Yes, Senator Kennedy.
Madam Chair, with respect, you allowed the witness to go at length and to change her testimony without her being subject to cross-examination. Are you going to allow us to have a second round of questioning?
No, Senator Kennedy.
What are you trying to cover up here?
There is no cover-up, and Mr. Padilla, Senator Padilla, you'll be allowed the 30 seconds remaining left.
I want
in your
to
time.
appeal the ruling of the chair.
Thank you. I'd like to hear the
I would
the
like to
responses
appeal.
from the two
Madam
witnesses
Chair, I have
remaining.
a point of order. I'd like to appeal the ruling of the chair. You allowed a
Your point of order was offered and responded to,
and I appeal the ruling of the chair and call for a roll call vote. You allowed a witness, let me state my case.
Sure.
With respect. You allowed a witness to go on for 4 or 5 minutes, change her testimony, knowing full well that neither Senator Cruz nor I could cross-examine her about her perjury.
Senator Kennedy, would you allow the witnesses
I'm
to finish
still in
responding
the
to my
middle of a
question,
point of
and
order,
then we can
Mr.
act
Madam
on
Chair.
your request?
And I think we
Senator
should
Kennedy.
have a second round.
Senator Kennedy.
And I am appealing the ruling of the chair.
Senator Kennedy, would you allow the witnesses to finish responding to my question, and then we
I
can
am
respond to
appealing
your request?
the ruling of the chair.
Senator Kennedy.
Welcome back to American Stronghold, the place where truth still matters, where we defend the Constitution, and where we hold Washington accountable. Before we get into today's story, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. We don't answer to the political elite or corporate media, we answer to the American people. Now, let's talk about what just went down in the Senate Judiciary Committee. If you haven't seen the footage, it's another perfect example of how the Washington establishment protects its own and silences anyone who dares to ask real questions. The exchange between Senator John Kennedy and the committee chair, Madam Chair Newman, was a textbook display of how Democrats use procedural tricks to avoid accountability. Here's what happened. Senator Kennedy raised a point of order. He wanted to question a witness who had just changed her testimony, a witness who, according to Kennedy, may have just perjured herself right there on the record. But instead of allowing a second round of questioning to clarify the facts, Chair Newman flat out refused. Kennedy tried to appeal her ruling, but she quickly shut him down, saying there was no procedure for a roll call vote.
I gave you a response to your request of a second round of questioning. I have no intention on allowing a second round of questioning.
And I'm appealing your ruling.
That is fine. There is no procedure that allows
I would
for
ask
a
for a
roll
roll
call.
call
There
vote.
is no procedure for it that allows for a roll call vote in this committee. This is a hearing. I have the gavel. I have responded to your request.
This is
and I am going to return
I will
to
say I've
Senator
never seen
Kennedy's.
a chair try so hard to protect a witness and avoid answering why she just lied on the stand with her own words, her own opinion.
Thank you so much for your request. It has been heard, responded to. Senator Padilla,
There will be no cross-examination. The witness shall be allowed to lie, and no one will ask her.
Ruling. I think I have the floor.
You asked for, was there going to be another round of questions?
Point of order. Your
The answer
ruling
is no.
that we can't have a second round, that the chair can allow a witness, after we're finished with cross-examination, go on at length, change her testimony, potentially perjure herself. We're not allowed to cross-examine in a second round of questioning, which we do all the time.
The answer is no, Senator Kennedy.
I can't, and you now ask for a roll call vote to appeal your ruling.
Madam Chair.
No, you cannot.
That's
Madam Chair,
ridiculous.
point of
Thank
personal
you.
privilege, please. Madam Chair, point of order.
Senator Hirona.
You know, we have been witness to literally witness badgering, and now badgering of the chair. She has issued her ruling. There is no appeal. Some of us would like to get on with this hearing.
I'm sure you
and
would.
To have to sit here and listen to all of you go off time and time and time again. And I just want to commend this witness, this nominee, for her comportment, because what her comportment says to me is that she is going to be a damn good judge. Can we get on with it, Madam Chair?
So does every Democrat senator want to cover up the facts here? Is any Democrat
So can we
senator interested
return
in the direct
to
contradiction
Senator?
from
We'll
the
be
witness?
returning to Senator
Apparently,
Padilla's
the entire
questioning, or we
Democrat
will
senators that want to
adjourn
cover these up.
today's
You want
hearing.
to adjourn? Go ahead. You can do that.
Go ahead.
Senator Padilla, I
We
want
might
to give
as
you
well.
your 30
You
seconds.
might
Way
as
you're
well,
gonna run this
because the
hearing.
I
questions
wanna
are
give
going
you
to
your
be,
30
are you
seconds.
more
If you
handsome
wish,
or
you can
beautiful
yield
or
your
brilliant?
time and we
And
can gavel
let's
or we
avoid
can
the
gavel
Madam
facts.
Chair, what I would like is be an opportunity for the two remaining witnesses to respond to my question. And I would really like all members of the committee to pay them the respect they deserve and to let them finish. Ms. Newman.
Thank you, Senator. I do agree with the premise of your question. I did have the opportunity to complete 2 clerkships, one at the Vermont Supreme Court and one at the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. When I was at the Second Circuit before Judge Peter Hall, I was his 3rd slate of clerks, at the very beginning of his career. And he discussed then and made it a point to try to attract and hire a very diverse set of law clerks in the broadest sense, geographically diverse, from different schools, many who had had different careers before law school. He felt that that really helped his decision-making process, and I hope, if I'm so fortunate to be confirmed, to do the same.
Thank you. Judge Valenzuela.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. I agree with your statement, and I agree with the comments of my colleagues. The only thing I would add is that I think the mentoring component of that is very important. And that's why for the past, I think 5 years or so, I have served on the California Judges Association's outreach committee. And I've strived through that committee to encourage and inspire the next generation of lawyers.
Thank you to all the nominees for your responses and again for your composure and your dignity. And I will apologize to you for the decorum of some of my colleagues here today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Senator Padilla. Thank you to our nominees here. If there are further questions that are going to be, would like to be offered, the deadline for submitting those is May 29th. By 5 p.m. Questions for the record will still be due to the nominees by that date and time. The record will likewise remain open until that time to submit letters and similar materials.
No debate, no transparency, just a gavel and a power move. Now think about that. In the United States Senate, where oversight is supposed to be sacred, a Republican senator tried to hold a witness accountable for possibly lying under oath, and the Democratic chair stopped him. When Kennedy demanded a fair process, the chair simply said no, declared there was no appeal process, and refused to let him or Senator Cruz cross-examine. That's not democracy, that's control. That's what happens when one side fears the truth. Then, as if on cue, Democratic Senator Alex Padilla jumps in, not to address the perjury claim, not to defend the truth, but to praise the witness for her composure. He even said her calm demeanor proved she'd be a damn good judge. So instead of focusing on honesty and transparency, the Democrats applauded her for keeping a straight face while being shielded from real questioning. That tells you everything you need to know about how far the Senate majority will go to protect their nominees. Let's be clear, this isn't just about one witness or one hearing. This is about a pattern of shielding judicial nominees who push the progressive agenda. The left knows that if they control the courts, they control the country. From immigration rulings to Second Amendment cases, they want judges who will legislate from the bench. That's why they protect them at all costs. And this moment right here is a perfect example of what's wrong with Washington. When the rules get in their way, Democrats just change them. When the truth threatens their narrative, they block the questions. When Republicans try to expose inconsistencies or corruption, they call it badgering. But when their own witnesses shift testimony in real time, they call it poise. Senator Kennedy was right to stand his ground. He was right to call it what it was, a cover-up, because that's exactly what it looked like. He said he'd never seen a chair try so hard to protect a witness, and he was absolutely right. What we saw wasn't just bias, it was manipulation of the process. The people deserve to know what's going on behind those closed committee doors, but the left doesn't want that transparency. They want compliance. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. When Democrats talk about norms and decorum, it's always selective. They want Republicans to sit quietly while their nominees rewrite the record. But when a Republican dares to challenge them, when Kennedy demands truth, they suddenly talk about decorum and moving on. They don't want to get on with it because they're tired of nonsense. They want to move on because they got caught. Senator Kennedy represents millions of Americans who are fed up with government double standards. People who watch this circus in Washington and ask, how come no one's held accountable when it's the left doing the lying? And that's exactly what we need to keep questioning. Because when Democrats weaponize procedure to shield their allies, it's not just political theater, it's an erosion of the democratic process itself. And while all of this was happening, the witnesses, the very people under scrutiny, were allowed to continue testifying as if nothing happened. They talked about diversity in clerkships, mentorship, outreach, and representation, all noble concepts on paper, but completely irrelevant to the issue at hand, truthfulness and integrity in testimony. It's the perfect Washington trick. Change the subject, play the virtue card, and hope the American public stops paying attention to the real question. At the end of the hearing, Chair Newman apologized, not to Senator Kennedy or Senator Cruz, but to the nominees for having to deal with what she called decorum issues. That's right. She apologized to the witnesses who may have misled the committee, not to the senators who were denied their constitutional oversight responsibilities. She then adjourned the hearing and shut it down, setting a future deadline for follow-up questions that will probably never be answered on camera. This is what happens when accountability is treated like an inconvenience. It's why Americans are losing trust in their institutions. When you can't even question a witness without the chair calling it badgering, you know the system is rigged. So what does this mean for us, the American people? It means we've got to stay vigilant. We have to call out hypocrisy wherever it hides. Because make no mistake, these hearings shape the future of our courts, our freedoms, and our way of life. When senators like John Kennedy fight back, they're not just fighting for themselves. They're fighting for every citizen who believes the truth still matters. That's why American Stronghold exists, to expose this nonsense, to shine light on the cover-ups, and to give patriots a voice. Washington may want to sweep this one under the rug, but we won't let them. This hearing shows exactly how far they'll go to protect their agenda, and it's our job to make sure the American people see it for what it is. If you believe in truth, fairness, and real accountability, hit that like button, share this video, and make sure you're subscribed to American Stronghold. Because as long as they keep trying to silence our side, we'll keep speaking louder. The fight for America's integrity isn't over, it's just beginning.